All right. Thank you so much and welcome to SCBD Toastmasters. I'm your SAE. Here are the rules for our meeting today. And first is please be on time. Room is always open 30 minutes earlier. Let's follow the time given in the agenda will be shared later in the chat box. Second, please identify yourself properly. Use your real name, not your gangster name or your nickname. For example, VTM, strip your name, or club. For guests, you can write G, strip your name. And third, please turn on your camera in your convenience. Make sure your face is within the video because we will take a picture in the middle of our meeting. Fourth is keep your microphone on mute and mute your microphone whenever you are not speaking. When it's your turn, rock and unmute yourself. Five is be fully present and have fun. Enjoy the learning process. Pay attention and participate actively. Use the chat box to leave any feedbacks or reactions to the speakers. With that, I will call our acting as president, Toastmaster Donna, or VPE, to open the meeting. Over to you, Toastmaster Donna.
Thank you very much to our Sergeant at Arms and Division Director. I'd like to open this meeting with happy morning.
Happy morning.
Happy morning. It's good to finally say it in actual morning. So happy actual morning, everyone. Today is going to be a very, very special day because we are going to talk about movies. But before we talk about movies, I am going to explain a little bit about what Toastmaster is. I'm going to talk about who SCBD Toastmaster as a club is, so that you can familiarize yourself. So welcome to SCBD Toastmasters Club. We have a motto of being appreciative, warm, energetic, and experienced. We are a part of the District 87 within Toastmasters International, an area I treat and established in 2005, which was a while ago. So we've had this. Toastmasters International itself is a large international community established in 1924, and it focuses on leadership and public speaking for everyone. It has clubs in 144 different countries with over 14,700 clubs among them and 280,000 members. So if you want to find friends, this is the place to go. Now, what about us, SCBD Toastmasters itself? We strive to create guidance in achieving education progress. We have a member-centric mentoring program and a warm club environment, very supportive. Within Toastmasters, we have this pathways quote-unquote curriculum where you can get to learn and become better and better in your public speaking journey. So join us every Friday starting from 6:55 p.m. But because it is Ramadan, from March 9th to March 30th, we meet Saturday mornings online only at 8:55 a.m. GMT +7. So without further ado, I'd like to hand the control to our Toastmaster of the meeting, Toastmaster Nabila. Okay, if not, I'd like to have a round of questions and introduce folks. Hi, Toastmaster Nabila, one bit, okay, since I started the questions already. I'd like to welcome Toastmaster Will from Signature all the way from Seoul, Korea, and our brand new freshly minted member, Toastmaster Isen, and the president of World Travelers, Toastmaster Eliza, and as well as all of our friends here this morning. Okay, Toastmaster Nabila, if you're ready, you can go ahead and start. We can't hear you. Is your mic on? You're not audible at all. So while you sort that out, I'd like to ask a few questions to our general evaluator. Hi, Toastmaster Nabila.
Hi, Toastmaster Donna.
Hi, nice to
everyone.
meet you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sorry?
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh yeah, hi everyone. I'm Mala. I'm from Eagle Toastmaster Club. in Division G.
Wow. Okay, what time do you guys meet?
Thursday, every second and fourth week at 7 to 9 p.m. But this week, because this is Ramadan, we have joined meeting with another club in the same area, which is before breakfasting.
Got it. So you moved to the afternoons now. Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Sister Nabila. Can you try to speak now?
Yes, how about now? Can you hear me?
Could you pike up your volume a little bit?
Hello?
Okay, yeah. Okay, we can hear
Okay.
you.
All right. Okay, so I will start the meeting now. Happy morning.
Happy morning. Happy morning.
Morning.
All right,
Morning.
first of all, I would like to say thank you and welcome to our fellow Toastmasters and guests for our event today. I'm Nabila, and I'm so thrilled to be your Master of Ceremonies for this exciting and insightful meeting. As we begin this meeting, we'll be hearing speeches from our prepared speakers and also an educational sessions from our guest speaker. Okay. So, yeah, reflecting to our theme, there is a quote from Roger Ebert. Movies are the most powerful empathy machine in all the arts. When I go to a great movies, I can live somebody else's life for a while. I can walk in somebody else's shoes. I can see what it feels like to be a member of a different gender, a different race, a different economic class, to live in a different time, to have a different belief. So I think we can all agree with this quote, because as a Toastmaster, sometimes we take film as our inspirations. So without further ado, let's continue. This is our session for today. It will be divided into 4 sections. The first one is prepared speeches, and then we will continue with educational session. And after that is a table topic session. And the last one is evaluation session. So all right. So ladies and gentlemen, we'll begin this meeting with our prepared speeches. The first one is the speaker, which is our past
I'm
president.
sorry,
Yes.
Toastmaster Nabila. I think I need to, do I have to introduce my team first?
Oh,
Yes, please do so.
yes, Toastmaster Mela, I'm sorry, I skipped that part. It should be your turn to, as a general evaluator, to introduce your team. Okay, so before we continue with the prepared speeches, I will give the screen to our general evaluator, which is Toastmaster Mala, to introduce our role takers for today. Toastmaster Mala, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Madam Tom. Hi again, everyone. Now, my role as a general evaluator to serve in this meeting with my team. And before that, I want to make sure that our accountant, Toastmaster Dede, is he or he here?
Not yet.
Not yet, but he or she will come.
I think yes, will be like, how about can you introduce by your first?
Okay. Okay then. I just want to make sure first about my team. Okay. Our meeting will be held by the team, and this one first of my team will be the timer. Toastmaster Amelie, can you please introduce your role?
Thank you, Mala. Good morning, everyone. I'm Amelie, and I will be the timer for today's meeting. I will make sure, as a timer, I will make sure to end every session on time. For our prepared speeches, it is 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, you will see green in my background. 6 minutes, yellow. 7 minutes, red. And for our educational session, it's 20 minutes. 18 minutes you will see green, 19 minutes yellow, and 20 minutes red, and you have 30 seconds to wrap up your speech. And for our table topics, it is 1 to 2 minutes. 1 minute green, 1 minute 30 seconds yellow, and 2 minutes red. And also you have 30 seconds to wrap up your speech. I will be giving my report later. Back to our general evaluator, Mario.
Thank you, Toastmaster Emily. And please raise your hand, Toastmaster Emily, for the whole meeting, because I can consider that you are the most important role in this meeting. Everybody has to look at you. Thank you. Now I'm going to call the next team, Toastmaster Donna as the grammarian.
Okay, thank you. Happy morning, everyone. My name is Donna, and I will be your grammarian for today. My task is to check on any grammatical errors that you have, that we might have, and write the beautiful quotes that you're gonna say as well. I would like to also introduce the counter on her behalf while she's coming. So an counter will be in charge of making sure that we don't say too many like when we talk, so that we can sound more eloquent and prepared. So I will give my report at the end of the meeting. I'll return the control back to our general evaluator.
Okay, thank you for the accountant, but can you also please tell your role as a grammarian?
Oh, I did, didn't I? At the beginning.
Oh, okay. So there's no word of the day.
We do not have a word of the day for today.
Okay. Thank you. Then I will call the last one, Toastmaster Alaika as the ballot counter.
Happy morning, everyone. My name is Alaika. I will be your ballot counter today. I will share a link on the chat box in every session for you to cast your vote for the most favorite prepared speech speaker, table topic speaker, and your favorite evaluator. At the end of the meeting, I will share who the winners are. Thank you. I will give the control back to our GE. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Alaika. And my job as the general evaluator is to pay close attention to all what happened in the meeting or what doesn't happen in the meeting. And I will also evaluate about the role takers, and then we'll report everything at the evaluation session, which is the last part of this meeting. With that, I return the control back to Toastmaster Nabila as a top.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mala. I will continue again. So for now, we will have the prepared speeches. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, thank you. So the first speaker is Toastmaster Alvin. Toastmaster Alvin is in his pathway, which is innovative planning, in the level 2 project 1, and his title of the speech is "Who Wanna Be the Chairman?" and his speech will be evaluated by Toastmaster Hani for her project in level 1, project 4.3, which is the evaluation and feedback. And later, Toastmaster Hani will be evaluated by Toastmaster Yvonne. Okay, so without further ado, I will give the screen to Toastmaster Hani to introduce our speaker, Toastmaster Alvin. Toastmaster Hani, the screen is yours.
Thank you. Okay, happy morning, everyone. In Saturday morning, my name is Hani. I will be the evaluator for Toastmaster Alvin. That he will deliver in another pathway is innovative planning. The level 2 project 1 is about understanding your leadership style. This project purpose is to know what he implemented, he find in his leadership style in the speech. So without further ado, let's hear from Toastmaster Alvin Abrar, who wanna be the chairman. Who wanna be the chairman? Toastmaster Alvin Abrar. Over to you.
Hello, Toastmasters. I want to know among you that then when our teacher asks, who wants to be the chairman of this class? Are you raising your hands? No? Well, thank you for your reaction. And we didn't see that today also. I didn't see that well today, nowadays. Who wanna be the chairman of this class? Like when we see the class, the student will, you lah, not me, you lah. And then finally, the teacher has to ask the student one by one, you want to be the chairman of this class? No. You want to be the chairman of this class? No. You want to be the chairman of this class? I'm so busy. I'm busy with my marbles, my toys, Lego. I will consider it. Isn't that sad? And while the leader position has to be filled, when every smart student don't want to become a leader because they prefer to focus only to their studies. Their responsibilities, I have to report to the teacher, I have to lead these events, I'm responsible for all my friends. Then finally, someone that didn't know anything about leadership, not a wise man, the teacher finally come to him and ask, do you want to be the chairman? Yes! Then the class going horrible. There's no program, students are complaining, there's so many peculiar rules, even no regulation for sitting, where the taller child can sit up front and the shorter child will sit behind. So many people are complaining. Fellow Toastmasters, isn't that what happened with our country right now? Maybe not lah. Maybe not Indonesia, but maybe out Indonesia. They just conduct an election. And like not all people are satisfied with the election process. This one is bad. This one is not eligible. This one is a liar. Why this happened? Because the smart people, wiser people are out of the leadership circle. They're focusing on their career, study hard, then get a well-paid job. Then when he's going home, he's whining. Oh, why the traffic so bad? Why government implement these old rules? Why don't they just improve the public transportation? And how about the farmer? Why don't just pay attention more to our agriculture? Because we, Indonesia, have the most extensive farmland in the world. This thinking, this idea will be left out because that smart man Choose not to raise hand when the teacher asks, who wanna be the chairman? Fellow Toastmasters, if next opportunity come to you, I suggest you to raise your hands. If you have a better idea for better education, better public transportation, better human housing, when someone asks, who wanna be the chairman? Please consider to raise your hand. Fellow Toastmasters, we can also start our leadership learning here in Toastmasters. Like take a leadership role in our meeting, like the Toastmaster of the meeting, the general evaluator, accountant, etc. Be part of the meeting. If you have a beautiful idea, try it in our meeting. And later on, if the election comes, like who want to be the vice president of our club, and you have a brilliant idea, please raise your hand because you will build your portfolio to become better leader. Fellow Toastmasters, it's not really our bad that we don't consider to become leaders because our curriculum in the school don't teach us about leadership. Most smart people going to college and getting a well-paid job, and that's it, and whining for the rest of the countries. Fellow Toastmasters, leadership has to be filled. The chair of the leadership, someone has to be sit there. If not smart people, no wise people consider that and prefer to think about himself or just to neglect it, the chair has to be filled and less wise people will fill the chair. Fellow Toastmasters, if a opportunity comes to you, who want to be the Toastmaster of the meeting, raise your hand. Who want to be the vice president, raise your hand. Who want to be the director of our club, raise your hand. Because we need you. We need you smart people, wise people here. So, fellow Toastmasters, if someone asks you, you want to be the chairman? Will you raise your hand? Back to our Toastmaster of the meeting, Toastmaster Nabila.
Wow. Thank you, Toastmaster Alvin. It was such an inspiring speech that you just delivered. It really motivate us to be better, to improve ourselves, and maybe later we can be the leader in the community that we are in. Okay, so let's move on to the next speaker, which is also one of our president of SCBD Club, which is Toastmaster Garda. Toastmaster Garda will be evaluated by distinguished Toastmaster Eliza. So without any delay, I will give the screen to distinguished Toastmaster Eliza.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nabila. Good morning, everyone. And today, the purpose statement for our second speaker, Toastmaster Garda, will be to practice applying feedback and serve as speech evaluator during a club meeting, and also for a member to present speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. So all the best to Toastmaster Garda. Back to you, Nabila.
Okay, let's welcome our second speaker, Toastmaster Garda. I see. So while we are waiting for Toastmaster Garda, is there anybody here wants to share about your favorite film? And have you ever put it into a speech? Does anybody have? Because from me myself, I haven't done that yet. I haven't talked about movies for my speeches. Is anybody here who has done that and want to share with us?
Me. Oh yeah,
Yes.
and Honey too. Yeah. Sister
Yeah,
Honey, come on
please.
now.
Please
Yeah.
share.
I didn't talk about a movie, but I talked about a movie star. My favorite movie star is Leonardo DiCaprio, and I
Oh,
mentioned him in my competition speech. That was fun.
yeah, I remember that.
And
I see.
Sister Honey?
Yeah, how about Toastmaster Hani?
Oh yeah, I just delivered my speech last week about movie.
Yeah.
I love movie because we can learn from the story and we can capture the moral story from the movie. It's good message.
Yes, I see that. And I agree with that. Because sometimes we are looking for inspiration, right? What is interesting that we can talk about, which is also relatable to other people. And movie is one of the way that we can talk about something that is familiar, especially if the movies are popular. Yeah, I see. And the choice of the movie, the Shawshank Redemption, right? I remember that. I watched that film too, and it is very. And for Leonardo DiCaprio, I believe everyone's also who doesn't know him, right? Okay, so I think that's all. We can continue to the speaker to the speed session. Toastmaster Gerda, are you ready?
Yes, Toastmaster Nabila, I'm ready.
Okay, the screen is yours.
Who loves Finding Nemo? Raise your hands if you know the movie and you love watching it when you were younger. Nice. I saw some of you raising your hands, and I believe that, well, maybe we are on the same age, right? We are still 17 and we still know the movie of Finding Nemo. How cute and lovely seeing those little tiny creatures and just keep swimming on the ocean, and we got to see the beautiful views and also the life underwater. So it sounds magnificent seeing how another creatures living underneath the sea has their own life, and without knowing, we all have same or similar difficulties or struggles in life. I'm not about to talk about Nemo, but let's talk about Dory. Who knows and who loves that clumsy, short-term memory loss Dory? I saw Donna raising her hands, and yeah, we all get to lost sometimes in our lives, just like Dory. Now, maybe you can also imagine you can take yourself back to one particular time over the course of your life when you were getting lost, and perhaps you were also like Dory. Let me share a bit of my story when I felt that I think I was Dory at that time. So back in 2020, when the pandemic of COVID hit for the very first time in our life, at that time, I had no job and I confused on where I should head myself to. I felt that I had no direction on how to pave myself on this planet, and I didn't have a plan or what kind of the future that I'm going to live. But then I attended one event held in, I forgot the name, but it was in Jakarta, online, of course. I met one mentor. His name is Tama. One of my friends happened to know Tama as well because they were part of mentor and mentee program in another platform. So I got to be introduced to Tama, and Tama was eventually a graduate scholar from an abroad university, and I got interested in getting to know into the program and also how to apply for the scholarship at that time. So my mind and my plan at that time was kind of, building the plan and also the pay for myself to pursue for a higher education, particularly getting a scholarship abroad, and, just like having built a new plan for yourself. And that was I felt during the hardship came during the pandemic. So Tama taught me a lot of things, from building and making a great foundation, and also how to, introduce yourself and how to craft a plan for something that you have never done before. Because honestly, at that time, the course that I was about to apply was something that I never experienced, or I never had anything from the entire of my life. So from the scratch, Tama taught me on how to build an essay and how to get into a good connection and how to get a promotion regarding to, prepare for everything that had to take at that time. I felt that me from nothing and had to build it from the scratch. There was someone guiding me in a journey that I felt that I was a bit lost at that time. And not only that, I felt that throughout my journey, building and paving my path toward the future, I understand that there might be someone in our life that maybe it could be a stranger. It could be someone that we have never met before. That this person could be our companion and eventually can also be our mentor and a teacher, more than just a friend. And that was what I felt. Although eventually throughout the process, I felt applying for the course and also for the scholarship. But it didn't have me feel regret at all, because at the end of the day, I learned something. Yes, on one side of the story, I felt in pursuing for that higher education, because now I'm on my journey into something else, that building my own direction and also getting into my own future. But what I'm about to tell you and share with you today, from this story that I had with Tama, every one of us can get lost sometimes in our life. Every single one of us can be a Jory. And it is okay if you feel that you are a Jory. It is okay that sometimes you get lost, or you get, a bit of short-term memory loss. But you can be a Jory of your own, or you can let yourself be a Jory for others. Because in the movie, Jory was always being a good companion to Nemo's dad, Marlin, who was searching for his son. So you can be that kind of person. You can be a light and a source of light for others who needed your help. Because that is the essence of us as a human. That is what we are meant to be in this world. To be a Dory of your version. Because we are more than just capable of giving our hands to help others. Back to you, Tom.
Wow. Ah, thank you, Toastmaster Garda. It was a very inspiring speech about Dory. And I agree with you that maybe sometimes in our life, whether it is a cycle or maybe once in a while, we will feel like a Dory. We forget about the journey that we are in or the vision that we are heading in. So yeah, it's great to have an evaluation sometimes. Just like this Toastmasters meeting, right? We always have evaluations which means that we have friends that can help us to be a better person every time we done our speech. Okay, so let's continue to the next session, which I believe is the most anticipated, which is our educational sessions that will be delivered by our guest speaker, who is Toastmaster Yus Gunawan Marto. I will share a bit about the profile of our speaker. Wait a moment. So, Toastmaster Yus Gunawan Marto is coming from JTC, Jakarta Toastmasters Club. He is graduated in 2013 with a focus in cinematography from Art Institute of Houston. And now he built Mira Studio and serves as the director. Yeah, he serves as the film and creative director and has directed regional TV and digital commercials for national and multinational brands, and also several state-owned enterprise. Okay, so today we will have a talk from him. Toastmaster Yus Gunawan, are you here?
Hello, Tom, Nabila. Nice to meet you. Yes, I am here. I am
Okay.
awake.
Yes.
And I'm ready
to meet
to
you.
share some ilmu. Hopefully.
Okay. Yeah, we are very excited to have you here. So without further ado, Toastmaster Yus, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Tom, Nabila. Let me share my screen so everyone can see it. All right. Okay, so I would like to open by asking, well, I think TM Donna earlier. No, actually, I think it was you, Nabila, asked how many of us love movies, and a lot of people raised their hands. But I also want to ask how many of you have seen a movie and think to yourself, oh, it's that thing again. Oh, I've seen this million of times. You know, it's gitu-gitu aja gitu. It's like it's very familiar. I'm sure some of you have felt that way when you watch a movie in theater. Oh, I've seen this before. It's not new. And well, that's because, let me start the slideshow. Oops, sorry, not that one. Okay. And that's because 99% of movies, don't quote me on this, I'm not a statistician, so it's probably more like 90% of movies follow the same structure, which is what we know as the 3-act structure. And many of you speakers here are familiar already with the rule of 3 in speeches, in jokes, making jokes. You know, the third one is the punchline. But that goes for movies as well. Like movies also follow the rule of 3. So we have what is known as the 3-act structure. And this is kind of like a simplified version of the 3-act structure. It's actually a bit more, it has a bit more subcategories, but for the purpose of this session, I think this is all you need to know. Is the 3-act structure goes like this. It always starts in the ordinary world. Ordinary world is the world as the main character, or let's call him or her the protagonist, is accustomed to. It's like if you work in a bank, your ordinary world is your day job as a banker, going home, watching movies, paying bills, hanging out with friends. That's the ordinary world. But nowadays, it's always a good idea to kind of like open with a hook instead, because the ordinary world is, bluntly speaking, very boring. So you want to start with a hook. That way you can get audiences' excitement going. And I'll talk more about hooks later. But typically, our story actually starts in the ordinary world. But then there will be what is known as the inciting incident, or we can call it the catalyst for change. So let's say a banker suddenly finds a bag filled with lots of money. That's an inciting incident. The world that was normal, the protagonist felt that his world or her world was good as it is. Suddenly, things change. And after the inciting incident, there is this thing we call the debate, which is where the protagonist has to make a decision. Do I take the money? Do I just leave it be? What if the money belongs to like some evil people? Should I take it or not? And typically, a protagonist always tries to ignore the problem to do the easiest thing that can be done. Like, you know, if we have an in our daily life, if we have an issue, like we find out maybe a friend of ours is stealing money from her company, or like maybe our spouse is cheating on us. Typically, we don't go straight to confrontation mode, but we kind of like try to be normal, try not to do anything about it. Point of no return, where the problem can no longer be ignored. He or she has to do something about it. So in this instance, maybe it's no longer that the protagonist wants to take the money or not. The money is just shoved onto his hand, and now he has to run with it while bad guys are chasing after him with guns. So the moment the protagonist crosses over from our peaceful, calm, but very mundane, ordinary world to the exciting world of adventure, that is what we know as the point of no return. And then we enter Act 2. If Act 1 was the setup of the problem, Act 2 is the journey, which is going to lead to some confrontation. So in Act 2, we have this phase we call the fun and games, which is the adventures and fun and thrills. This is the part in our speech where, let's say, we decided to, I'm gonna apply for a master's degree, and this is the fun and games. It's like, okay, I'm gonna take this class and that class and practice in front of my friends and things like that. So the fun and games is like the adventure, the exciting journey, running away from the bad guys, meeting the love interest, and all of that. But the fun and games will culminate in what is known as the first crisis. And the first crisis is kind of like, it's a crisis. So it's the low point. It's kind of like a low point in the story. Where, for example, the protagonist who was running away with the money, he ran away with a friend, but in the first crisis, the friend gets killed. So now not only is he alone again, but there is the threat of a friend of his literally dead because of this money, and that fate can befall him as well. So that's the first crisis, which is roughly around the middle of the movie typically. But usually the protagonist finds a way around the first crisis and keeps going. But the stakes have been amped up. The threat is bigger than before. So the point after the first crisis is what we typically call bad guys close in, because the threat is much, much higher. The threat of failure. So that's called bad guys close in. And after that, that's going to culminate in the second crisis. The second crisis is the main crisis in the film. It's what is often called the low point of the film. If the first crisis was the midpoint, because it's roughly in the middle of the film, the second crisis is the low point. This is, for example, in our movie here, when the protagonist, having lost her friend to the bad guys, now finds out that the bad guys have found out who her family is, and basically they are taking her family's hostage. So if she doesn't return the money, well, the family is going to be killed. And the stake is much higher than the first crisis. So the second crisis, also known as the low point, is kind of like the peak of the peak of our the peak of the obstacle that the protagonist is going to be facing. After that, things typically start improving. And so from the second crisis, we're going to enter Act 3, which is, as mentioned earlier, if Act 2 was the journey and several confrontations, Act 3 is finally the resolution. So in Act 3, going directly from the second crisis, we will go into this phase that we typically call the road back. And the reason we call it the road back is because stories always go full circle. I'm sure many of you have heard that before. So we typically go back to where we start, but the things are going to be different. Things are going to have changed. For example, in The Lord of the Rings, it started in the Hobbit village and it ends at the Hobbit village. Like they're just making their way back. And in the road back, it's basically where all the conflicts that have been set up are going to be resolved. The main challenge that the protagonist needs to face is going to be faced right here. In this case, the protagonist who's running away with the money of a mobster is finally going to come face to face with the mobster. And he or she is going to come face to face with the mobster in the climax. The climax is basically the final showdown, is where things are going to get resolved. And going from the climax, we will have our resolution. Resolution is what happens after. Has our protagonist changed? Does she or he resign from his or her bank job and become like John Wick? Or does he or she decide to stay in the good old peaceful life, but now with newfound contentment in it? So that's the Act 3 of the film. And just a little extra, typically the second crisis is the complete opposite of the ending. So if the ending is a relatively happy one, the second crisis is one that is extremely low, extremely depressing. But in movies, there are situations where it's the other way around, where the second crisis is the happiest point in the film. For example, a film about a bunch of homeless people who finally find an abandoned mansion and just party into the night, drunk, vandalizing the whole house. Well, that kind of signals the calm before the storm, because the end is going to be they all get arrested and separated from each other. But typically speaking, the second crisis is the complete opposite of the ending. And this is why movies tend to work so well emotionally, because we're so happy about something and suddenly we lose everything in the next 30 minutes, or vice versa. We're so discouraged about something, the situation is so desperate and we can relate to the protagonist. We want them to win and they finally sort of win in the next 30 minutes. So typically this is what seals a movie for us, what's happening between the second crisis and the ending. All right, now on to some examples. Let's use a couple movies to identify the 3-act structure. I have picked movies that I hope most, if not all of you have watched. So the first one is Barbie, because this is like one of the easiest one. So with Barbie, as mentioned in Act 1, we start with the hook. So the hook is we open with an outlandish intro telling the history of the Barbie dolls in an extremely larger than life manner and how they have impacted society since the 1950s. Well, that's a hook. It's like open with a commercial that's super over the top. Now you get everyone watching. That's a lot more exciting than just starting in the ordinary world. But after that, we go to the ordinary world, which is the Barbie world, where our main character, Perfect Barbie, seems content with her life. And our protagonist typically is always happy with life as it is in the ordinary world, but we audiences can see there's something missing. For example, Barbie lives in this perfect world, but we as audiences can see that the world is very shallow, the world is very superficial, and we know that it's not going to last. In a way, in our head, we know that, this kind of utopian sort of world is probably not gonna be there forever. Like something's gonna happen, something's bad gonna happen. Same goes with a person who's like perfectly happy with his or her career, but doesn't have a love life. Oh, well, the movie's gonna throw him or her into circumstances where he or she will have to have maybe very uncomfortable dates. So our protagonist always seems happy with the ordinary world, but we know something is missing, just like in Barbie. And hence the inciting incident comes. The inciting incident in Barbie is a set of circumstances make Barbie question her mortality, which manifests into problems such as aging, cellulite, flat feet, things that the perfect Barbie shouldn't experience. So the debate is that she tries to ignore this problem at first, but the other Barbies can't help but notice it. So she is no longer accepted as the perfect Barbie. Things have changed. Now she has to do something. She can no longer just live in the ordinary world. And that takes us to the point of no return, which is the climax of Act 1 that's going to take us to Act 2. So Barbie finds out that her circumstances is caused by a girl who is playing with her toy in the real world, but who seems to be unhappy, which, because there's a psyche link between the owner of the doll with the doll, causes her to experience all these misfortunes. So Barbie decides to cross over to the real world and find this girl to inspire her. So we have left the ordinary world and go to our special world, Act 2. And we start with the fun and games. We don't usually start with the heavy stuff. Barbie, along with Ken, arrive in the real world and experience a series of mishaps and adventures in the process of looking for the girl. Like there's a scene where Barbie gets sexually harassed. There's a scene where they both get landed in prison and things like that. Ken learns about patriarchy in the real world and returns prematurely to the Barbie world. So the stakes are slowly being raised. And we enter the first crisis. In the first crisis, Barbie finds a troubled human girl in school and tries to help her. But instead, she gets condemned by the girls for promoting female objectification and bimbo culture. This crushes Barbie because her whole life she thought she's been promoting women empowerment. But at this point, she begins to question if that's true. So that's the first crisis. However, Barbie still continues on with her quest to find the unhappy girl, believing that if she can change her, everything will be all right. And she finally does. She meets Gloria, a Mattel employee who inadvertently caused Barbie's crisis by playing with the doll while she's going through a midlife crisis. So Barbie, still being optimistic despite all that has happened, decides to take Gloria to Barbie Land to inspire her, to show her that that world is perfect, that Barbie world is perfect, while the Mattel executives are in hot pursuit. So this is the bad guys close-in part. As you see, the stakes are a lot higher now after the first crisis compared to before the first crisis, because someone's chasing them. And we reach the second crisis, also known as the low point, or the Act 2 climax. Barbie and Gloria arrive in Barbie Land, only to find out that it has been transformed into a patriarchal society by the Kens. Barbie fails to change Ken's mind and falls into a depression, beginning to accept that she cannot escape patriarchy. And this is the low point of the film because Barbie has practically given up. In the first crisis, she experienced a setback, but she still insisted to keep on going. But in the second crisis, she gives up. And so we enter Act 3, the road back. In the midst of her peril, Barbie's confidence is restored instead by Gloria, the one who previously went through a midlife crisis, but who, seeing Barbie's spirit and devotion, has decided to stand up for herself, has decided that while the world around them won't change doesn't mean they don't have to take a stand. So thanks to Gloria, Barbie's confidence is restored. She rallies all of the ostracized, the imperfect Barbies, the Barbies that have been cast out of society, to stand up against the Kens. And that leads to the climax. In the climax, Barbie and Ken have a confrontation where Ken admits defeat, but Barbie also apologized to him for mistreatment. Together, Barbie and Ken make a deal with the Mattel CEO to build a better society where the Kens and the ostracized Barbies can live better lives. So in a way, they're back to where they started in the Barbie world, but things have changed. Things will no longer be as they were in the ordinary world. Now there'll be more equality. Now the cast out dolls will have a bigger role. And the perfect Barbie is no longer just a perfect Barbie. But to add to that, in Barbie, there is the resolution, where Barbie decides to return to the real world and live as a human in order to experience what life is really like in all of its charm and imperfection. In essence, she has grown up, she has matured, and she no longer lives in the black and white world of the Barbie world, but in the gray human world where, despite all of the imperfection and chaos, she chooses to live a life there. That's roughly the 3-act structure of Barbie. Now we're gonna go ahead and do this with one more example. The next example is Dune 2. I hope most, if not all of you have seen this. I decided to pick 2 because it's fresher than Dune 1. So with Dune 2, we open with a hook summarizing the epic events depicted in the first movie from the perspective of the reigning family, signaling the calm before the storm. It's a dreamlike sequence with Florence Pugh's narration, beautiful cinematography, lots of visual effects. So what better hook than that? And then we enter our ordinary world, where our main character, Paul Atreides, and his mother, Lady Jessica, have adapted to life on the run in the planet Arrakis while living among the Fremen people. So that's their ordinary world now. It's like Buronan, basically. They live in the desert among these rebel fighters and just getting accustomed to living among these fighters. But there's still a distance between them because they come from different backgrounds. And then the inciting incident. The inciting incident is when Lady Jessica, Paul's mother, inherits the title of Reverend Mother after the death of the previous one. She gains bigger supernatural power and starts spreading the prophecy that Paul is a Messiah to the Fremen people. But the debate is that Paul still refuses to embrace this identity and declares that he only wishes to fight alongside the Fremen people. When Paul makes this declaration, that's sort of his refusal to go ahead with the call to action that is in the inciting incident. And then our Act 1 climax, or the point of no return, is when Paul and Chani fall in love. Because previously he had no ties to the Fremen people. Like, they could just leave if there are better boats to cling on to. But this time it's getting personal because Paul fell in love, and he further assimilates to the Fremen way of life. He learns to speak their languages. He takes on Fremen name, and he learns to do the ritual of riding the sandworm. So in a way, it's a point of no return because Paul is becoming localized, and it's harder to change him from that. Then the fun and games. Act 2, fun and games. Now Paul aids Chani and the Fremen regularly in their guerrilla raids against the Harkonnen oppressors. In the beginning, they kind of just like ran away from patrols and hide among the Fremen. But this time, Paul actively takes part in the Fremen cause, attacking the spice harvester. He's basically like ingratiated himself among the locals. In fun and games, he also reunites with old friends, such as Gurney Halleck, who is going to aid him later. Because in fun and games is where you meet friends and you're introduced to your enemies. And then first crisis, or the midpoint, is when Paul has a disagreement with his mother, who still persuades him to acknowledge that he's the Messiah, so everyone will follow him. And they split. Lady Jessica decides to travel south to convert the fundamentalists. Paul refuses to go south. He insists on staying north to continue fighting the oppressors alongside the Fremen. So this is the first crisis because Paul has lost his mother, who he basically spent all of the first movie with. They have now gone on their separate path. In Bad Guys Close In, we have our bad guy, Fate Rotha. He is given control over the planet Arrakis, slaughters the Fremen in a brutal raid, including some of Paul's friends, forcing the survivors, including Paul and Chani, to flee to the south where the fundamentalists are, where Paul had always refused to go from the beginning. Now he has no choice because the stakes have been raised. And we enter the Act 2 climax, also known as the second crisis or the low point. Paul arrives at the south, drinks some magic water, and falls into a coma. Well, that's kind of like that's the low point. That's the all is lost moment because we've lost our hope in winning this war. But Chani managed to resurrect him with her love. This somehow grants him the power of foresight. And now Paul can see the future, and now he can see that the best future will only come if he takes on the mantle of the Messiah and rallies the fundamentalists against the emperor. So from the low point, the character gains this revelation, which takes us to the road back. In the road back, Paul finally fully embraces the identity that was prophesied of him. He declares himself the Lisan al-Gaib, or essentially a god, and begins to convert the fundamentalists to his cause, which leads us to the climax. The emperor and his troops arrive in Arrakis to quell the rebellion, resulting in an epic battle against Paul, or the Lisan al-Gaib, and his loyal troops. Paul and his troops win, and Paul also single-handedly kills the big bad guy, Fate Rotha, in a duel. That takes us to the resolution. In the resolution, because there's going to be Dune 3, the resolution is essentially what is called a cliffhanger. Paul takes the emperor's daughter as bride in exchange of sparing the emperor's life. But it is all part of his plan after all, because he has the power of foresight. So Paul knows what's going to happen in the future and continues to plot the future of the galaxy, which we're going to see in Dune 3. And that's, in a nutshell, how you can see the 3-act structure plays out in a couple of very major movies. Start with the hook, then ordinary world. An inciting incident takes place that changes that ordinary world, that forces our protagonist to change. There's the debate on whether or not to embrace that change. Then finally, the protagonist, willingly or unwillingly, is forced to make the change and crosses over the point of no return, leaving the ordinary world and entering the special world where at first he or she only encounters fun in games, but that is going to culminate in a first crisis. However, our protagonist will find the strength to keep on going despite going through this crisis, but the stakes have been greatly raised and the bad guys are in hot pursuit, so we call this Bad Guys Close In. Bad guys don't have to be real bad guys. They can be metaphorical bad guys like aging. And then culminates at the second crisis, also known as the low point, which is where our protagonist gives up. Our protagonist encounters the biggest obstacle in his or her story. But going from the second crisis, there's always a reward. There's always a reward behind every crisis, a lesson behind every fall, to quote Toastmaster Nikki. And the protagonist will find a way to get back up, which we call the road back. In the road back, the protagonist is finally going to make his or her way back to face the big bad guy, the big obstacle, which we call the climax. And after the climax, that's going to lead us into the resolution. Now, how do we apply this into speeches? Well, it's very simple. We start with a hook. Let's forget the ordinary world because we don't really have time to set that up in the speeches. So we go straight to the inciting incident. So from the hook, we go straight to, okay, I want to get a master's degree, or I'm gonna make a movie, or I'm gonna propose to my girlfriend, and so on. And from the inciting incident, you can either have a debate or you can go straight to the point of no return. I finally buy the ring to propose to my girlfriend. I finally applied for the MBA I've always wanted. I finally decided to, I spend the first dollar I need to spend to make my movie. And then you still want to have fun and games because that's what makes a speech exciting, is the fun and games. The thrill of chasing a goal and not knowing whether we're going to achieve that goal or not. And what's really important in speeches is there should still be two crises. If there's only one crisis, the speech will feel short. It will feel like the stakes are not enough. So you want to have one crisis and then rise back up from that crisis, only to encounter a bigger crisis, which makes us question the goal to begin with. So we want to keep all of these. First crisis, bad guys close in, second crisis. And finally, having learned an important lesson from the second crisis, we go on the road back, which is going to lead to the climax, finally getting accepted in master's degree program, or not getting accepted, finally finishing the movie you always want to make. And that's going to lead to, instead of resolution, in speeches, we can just call it conclusion. Because unlike in movies, where you have to be subtle, in speeches, you can flat out just state the takeaway from this story. So just conclude it, just summarize the key point, the life lessons learned. This is how you can apply it in a speech. Duration varies. There's no set duration of Act 1 has to be this short, Act 2 has to be that long, and so on. So I'm going to provide examples from my own, some of my own speeches. I've only done 3 so far, to be honest. But let's look at my icebreaker speech and how the 3-act structure is used in that. Okay, my speech was about finding the love of my life, which the twist later reveals that it's movies. So it starts with the hook. The hook here is a universal question. How many of you have ever been in love? Because surely many of the audiences had. And how many of you found the love of your life before the age of 20, before the age of 15? And all of that is just like a hook. Then we go to the inciting incident. I met the love of my life at the age of 13. She always had a way of making me laugh, cry, blah, 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 blah. And then the point of no return. We spent so much time together, my mom started to be unhappy about it, but I could not stand not seeing her, so I would go and see her secretly at night. That's like, oh, things are getting serious here. That's the point of no return. And then we go to Act 2, fun and games. After graduating from college, okay, that's like a huge time skip there. I thought we were finally going to spend all our time together. But then one day I got news from home. First crisis, my dad got very sick. He's diagnosed with a very rare illness that's going to cripple him. And I was shaken, but I believe that as long as the love of my life and I are still together, we can keep on going. So overcome first crisis and onto bad guys close in. But then another incident happened. A woman that I fell in love with left me. I was hurt, but I still thought it's gonna be okay. But at this point, we kind of know that it's not going to be okay. We kind of know that like something even bigger awaits us. And so second crisis, low point. Finally, lost my job. The thing I prided myself on for so long. Independence, sustenance taken away from me. Alone in the cold, dark world without friends, without family. All I have, spoiler alert, blank screen staring back at me because the love of my life was movies. And so from that revelation, we go to Act 3, the road back. So I decided for the first time in my life to turn my head away from the screen, focus on building my life, hanging out with real people, joining communities, spending time with family. And the climax, also a bit of a crowd pleaser. That's how I joined Toastmasters, because I embraced being a blank slate again. I met friends, I learned skills, I met my girlfriend. And finally, resolution or conclusion. Sat down again, looked back at the screen, and thought, that's life. Moral lesson. Life is when you look at that screen and see your own reflection and can smile about it. And basically everything after that is just an extension of the resolution. You see, it's not set in stone. You can always play around with what you want to say in each phase. Like you can end with a question, you can end with a cliffhanger, you can end with a concluding statement, you can end where you started. But the point is, these categories, they always exist. Now let's go and look at another speech example. I hope I still have time, because I actually did not keep track of time, but it's almost done. So this is my intro to vocal variety and body language speech. So this one is called Chasing Someone Outside Your League. Again, it's a wordplay, because chasing someone outside your league, in my case, was actually making a very ambitious short film. So I think by the time I got to this speech, I was getting lazy to write scripts, so I just wrote bullet points. And but it still fundamentally follows the same structure. Start with a hook. Have you ever chased someone who is outside of your league? Okay, relatable question. Good. Get the audience hooked and excited. Then I revealed the spoiler very early on in this one, unlike the icebreaker. Not because chasing a girl, but because I want to make a short film. Inciting incident. Last year, my production company wanted to expand. We decided to make an original short film instead of commercials. But, okay, point of no return. Pretty high standards. Has to be pretty, it has to be smart, it has to be original. So you kind of know, oh, it's the recipe for disaster. Things are going to be tough. And then we enter Act 2, which is where we actually start making the film. Fun and games. Got our script. Time to get the best actors. Ask all the best actors to get on board. All the famous names: Jeffrey Nicole, Deddy Corbuzier, Ade Rai. First crisis, get ghosted. No one's interested. Nobody's interested. On the verge of giving up, blah, blah, blah. These are all still extension, essentially, of the first crisis. Another issue arise: commitment. Okay, bad guys close in. We had to finance everything out of our own pocket, so we had to ask favor from a lot of people. When we meet people, they always say, oh, that's so cool, I want to get on board, please take me in. But the moment you tell them there's no pay, suddenly everyone's out of town, everyone's busy. So you kind of like, the problem keeps on escalating, but it hasn't hit the high mark yet. Second crisis. Months went through a cycle of changing crew every month. Basically, like, we have to change our crew every month because no one's committed, because nobody's getting paid. Had to squeeze in meeting with people who can help, even like during dates, even on weekends. I have to like squeeze in a meeting with someone that can probably help up with the film while on dates with my girlfriend, and so on. But then the big day arrived, the shoot. Now in this one, I kind of play around with the structure a bit more. So the big crisis isn't in the second crisis, but in the climax. So that's also possible. Like, you can still have the stakes keep on rising even after the second crisis. The point is that you should still have 2 crises in a speech, no matter what. But if you want to have 3, go ahead. It doesn't have to be limited to 2, but don't do 1, is what I'm trying to say. So in this speech, actually, the low point sort of happens in the climax. Act 3, the road back. Time for the shoot. Everything's ready. Now, the thing we've always been waiting for, the shoot itself, happens. Everything seems to be going well. People showed up. Everybody get food, no malfunctioning equipment. Again, I was trying to draw allusion to a wedding, because the whole theme is like draw allusion to relationships and weddings and things like that. But then the stars of the film galau, and they don't want to act out this big scene that involves them being like drenched in nasty liquid and blood. So climax, I walked up front, took off my shirt, and just poured it all over myself. and just hugged everyone, all of the stars. So they just party in blood with me. So in a way, that's kind of the low point, because that's like the big the stars being galau is kind of like the big crisis of the story, which is resolved in the climax. And then resolution. Basically, what's the point of the speech? Well, people probably say, why are you so dumb? Why do you do this? Well, it's because it's our passion. If everything has to be certain, we will never have something outside our league, and so on. And yeah, that's the 3-act structure in my third speech. So let's kind of like look at it again. 3-act structure in my icebreaker speech. Start with a hook, universal question. Have you ever been in love? Inciting incident, met the love of my life. Point of no return, decided we will never be away. We will never be apart. Act 2, fun and games. Graduated from college, I get to spend all my time with her, so everything seems well. But then first crisis, that's illness. And still getting up from the first crisis and keep on going, bad guys close in, painful breakup. Leading to second crisis, lost my job and my sense of identity. And spoiler, love of my life is actually movies. And that leads to the road back, rebuilding my life again from scratch. Climax, made new friends, found a girlfriend, joined Toastmasters. Conclusion, life isn't all in the movies, but also the life around you. And for the body language and vocal variety speech, start with the hook. Universal question, have you ever chased someone outside of your league? Because I was pretty sure many of the audiences have. Inciting incident, want to make a short film. Point of no return, have incredibly high standard. Fun and games, okay, script is done, time to actually prepare to make this film. Start casting actors, overconfident. First crisis, get ghosted by the actors. Bad guys close in, try to get crews, no commitment because no one's getting paid. Second crisis, which in this one, arguably the real crisis happens in the road back leading to the climax. But there is still a second crisis. Personal and professional life get mixed up together, having to squeeze in meetings, on dates, and so on weekends. The road back, finally shoot the film. Climax, the final crisis, galau performers who don't want to act, and what I had to do to get them to act. And finally, conclusion, despite all the challenges, the journey is well worth it. Now, how can you apply this in your own speech? Well, it roughly follows this pattern. Start with a hook, a universal question, or a universal statement. Something that your target audiences, the audience you're going to be speaking in front of that day, can relate to. Then go to the inciting incident, which is a catalyst for change. I want to get an MBA. I want to do the division contest. I want to change job, change career. Point of no return is finally taking the step to do that. Because maybe after inciting incident, you have the debate. But you don't have to. You can just go straight to point of no return. Okay, left my job. Embark on a new career to be a farmer. Fun and games. Everything's fun, adventures and thrills. This is where your creativity really comes into play. This is where you can humor the audiences and get them excited. And then first crisis, first major setback. Let's say I left my corporate job to be a farmer. First major setback, panennya gagal. What do you call that? The bad harvest. Okay, bad guys close in, overcoming the first major setback. Onward we go. But then second crisis. Let's say the whole land infested by insects, by bad insects. Like it is unplantable, it is ruined, no money, can't survive as a farmer. A great ordeal. So the road back. Well, turns out maybe I'm not made to be a farmer. I have family back home waiting for me and all of that. Maybe I should appreciate what I already had instead of running away from it. So from the big ordeal, the second crisis, we gain new wisdom. We rise up from the new ordeal and we try to fix the problem, but this time with a new approach. Maybe the solution isn't to keep on being a farmer, but to be something else. And that leads to the climax or the final reward. And after getting that final reward, we conclude our speech with the lesson learned from the speech. And that is all for today. I hope I haven't exceeded the time limit. Thank you. I hope everyone's impressed. And time for Q&A.
Wow. Okay, I answered wow 3 times today, I guess, because the speech and the material is very, very inspiring, very great, and I believe it is very practical too. So let's continue to the Q&A session. We already have one question from Toastmaster Agung in the chat box. The question is it allowed to swap the eggs, like egg 3 becomes 1, and so on? So, Toastmaster Yus, what is your answer for this question? Can it be swapped?
Can you
or-
read the question again? Because I'm trying to look at the speech, but banyak.
Yeah. Yeah, the question is it allowed to swap the eggs? For example, yeah, the order of the eggs.
Yes,
Like-
you totally can. You totally
I
can.
see.
Yeah. In movies like the movie Oppenheimer, swaps the acts. So it starts with it has the future, and then it kind of like apa namanya they go back and forth between the future and the past. So you can do that. Gitu. You can swap the acts. You can even start with like the build up to the climax and things like that.
I see. Maybe it depends on what is the thing that we want to emphasize based on the for the purpose of the speech, right? So we can okay, sorry.
Yes.
Okay, I see. So Toastmaster Agung, do the question is answered, or do you need further? Do you want to ask for your question?
Yeah, it answers. Thank you, Toastmaster Yu.
You're welcome.
Okay, all right. I think so. That's all for the educational sessions, and we may begin. We can continue for the next session, which is the table topic sessions. But before that, I would like to call our timer. Oh, Toastmaster Emily has given us the report. Toastmaster Emily, do you want to present the report for the timer of the speeches today, please?
For the prepared speech session, speaker 1, Alpin, spent 6 minutes 30 seconds, and speaker number 2, Garda, 7 minutes 22 seconds. And for our educational speech session, it's 42 minutes and 38 seconds. So that's it for our timing. Back to you, Nadia.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Emily. So both our speakers for today are eligible to be voted. Can I have our ballot counter to give us the QR code or the link, please?
Yep. And so here you go, guys. This is the link for you to cast the vote for the favorite prepared speech speaker.
Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster Alaika. And while you are casting the vote, we will give the certificate of appreciation to our speaker, to our guest speaker, which is Toastmaster Yus.
Okay, I will share my screen. Okay. So here's the certificate of appreciation for our edu speaker, Toastmaster Yus Gunawan. Please, can you guys help us to take a picture?
Okay,
I can, yeah.
let's take a picture.
Okay, I can take a picture. Okay. 1, 2, Please say cheers. Wait a minute.
Okay. Oh, is it
Okay,
done?
it's done.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much,
You-
Toastmaster Honey.
Okay, so now we will have the table topic project that will be delivered by Toastmaster Leonie for her project. Toastmaster Leonie, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Tabo. Thank you, Toastmaster of the meeting for today. And now, before we start the session, I would like to introduce what the topic is. So let me share you my screen. Table topic session. So it's a spontaneous thinking platform. This is a place where you can practice your impromptu speaking skills by organizing and articulating your thoughts quickly. You will be given 1 to 2.5 minutes actually to answer a topic. So you can check the timer, which indicates how much time left for your answer. And everyone can participate in this session, both Toastmasters and guests. And for today, I will not ask for a volunteer, but I will ask randomly. So prepare for your answer because we already have a phenomenal educational session about three act structures of a movie that we can implement in our speech. Maybe we can also implement this in table topic session, right? So last but not least, have fun in the session because this is a low pressure zone to practice communication skills and enjoy the challenge of speaking spontaneously. And for the first speaker, without further ado, I would like to call our Toastmaster members club from SCBD. Toastmaster Iksan, would you like to try our tribal topic session?
Yes, of course. Let's
All
do.
right. Toastmaster Iksan, this is the question for you. Pretend you're a movie critic. Give a brief review of the last movie you watched. Pretend you're a movie critic. Give a brief review of the last movie you watched. 1 to 2 minutes. Toastmaster Iksan.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Leonie. So, the last movie I watched is actually the viral one right now is Agak Lain movie. I think you guys have watched it. Can you raise hand, everyone who has watched the movies? Okay, so if for everyone who haven't got any chance to watch the movie, I think you should come to the cinema and watch it and become the contributor for the 10 million movie viewers for the Agak Lain movie. Such a remarkable record for Indonesian movie to get so many viewers for the Indonesian movie. So as far as I know that, I think that movie is quite have a nice storytelling. Like Toastmaster, you thought that the movie has a very good introduction from a regular group of friendship, and then also continue begin have a several crisis. And actually, what I find quite interesting is that the movie tell us something that relate to us, so we can really immerse with the story. So I think for every critic that I would give to the movies actually regarding the movie is quite takes quite short, I think, because it has many story that they can manage to be expand and make the story is more go deeper in every personal character. So hopefully I can get the chance to watch the next movie from the Aga line. So hopefully in the future we will have to maybe watch movie together with all the Toastmaster members, so we could get next movie critic in after watch movie session. I think that's all from me. Back to you, Toastmaster Leon.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Iksan. That sounds like a brilliant idea because I think that was uh, an example that thing that we can do to watch movies together and be a movie critic together. And by the way, you are a very good movie critic because it makes us feel like, for those of you who hasn't watched Agaline, I think we all should watch Agaline and support our movie industry. And so, thank you so much, Toastmaster Iksan, for your beautiful answer. And now, let's move on to another speaker. I would like to ask Toastmaster Will from Signature, South Korea Toastmaster Club. Would you like to try to answer our table topic? You're still muted, Toastmaster Will. Hello, Toastmaster Will. You are still muted.
Okay.
Hello. Okay, so I will give you one question. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Share a movie that has inspired or motivated you in some way and explain its significance. Share a movie that has inspired or motivated you in some way and explain its significance. Toastmaster Will, one, two,
Okay. Okay. About a few years ago, I watched a movie. The name is First Reformed. It's a kind of the big budget movie. It's an independent movie, and the main characters played by Amanda Seyfried and Ethan Hawke. And they are very, very good actors. And it's about religion, and there are many tragic scenes and some accident, and it's a very profound profound meaning. I was a very good Christian, and but I was suspicious of my religion because of many bad things done by Korean pastors, corrupt pastors. And the movies make me think about my religion. It's about how deal with social injustice and some other things, especially for believers like me. It's a good opportunity for me to think about my religion. But it was very interesting. It's worthwhile to watch. The name of the movie is The First Reformed. It's main character played by Ethan Hawke and Amanda Seyfried. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Will, for your recommendation of a thought-provoking movie. That was so interesting because you share about how this movie made you questions about whether the systems of the religion is worth questioning, or is what could do better for the religion system. And it was interesting. So I would love to see the movie First Reformed by Amanda Seyfried and Ethan Hawke. I think it's a lovely recommendation from Toastmaster Will. Thank you so much. And now let's move on to our next speaker. I'd like to ask our guest, Dian Arista or Tita. Would you like to try our table topic? Yes, Dian or Tita? Are you there? All right. Maybe she's not able to answer the question. Let's move on to our next speaker. I would like to call guest Azrina. Are you there? Okay. And then maybe we can ask guests. Let me see. Who do we have here? Let's have guest Zaki then. Would you like to try our table topic?
Okay, sure, I would like to try.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen for the next question. Share one movie that makes you cry and why. Share one movie that makes you cry and why. Soon to be Toastmasters Zaki.
Okay. One movie that makes me cry. I think it's such a long time ago when I watched, like, I think it's on Kung Fu Panda 1, I guess. It's when the Master Oogway wants to, I don't know, maybe died or something, then he gave the advice to poke the panda. I think somehow it makes me cry because the message that have been said to Poe was very relatable to all of us. Like today, if I'm not mistaken, today is a gift, and tomorrow is a mystery, which means that um, it makes me cry because the Master Uguay died, and the lesson that can be taken is you have to cherish today as a gift. We're able to breathe, we're able to eat, we're able to doing anything that we like, and tomorrow is a mystery, and we never know what might happen tomorrow. It kind of makes me think like you have to live to your fullest in every single day. And another movie maybe that makes me cry is, if I'm not mistaken, is Finding Nemo. It's when the father of the, I forgot the name of his father, is looking for his son everywhere, anywhere, and couldn't find it, and he seems so desperate, and it kind of makes me not crying, but it kind of makes me shed tears a bit because even though you're having some great willing to do anything you do, and in the end you cannot find it. That's why you want to give up. So maybe those two movies that makes me cry and alongside movies. Back to Toastmaster Leonie, thank you.
Thank you so much to be Toastmaster Zaki for your recommendation or your sharing about the most movies that make you cry, or it was such a moving uh, recommendation because it is true that Ogway uh, saying about yesterday's history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. It's a very profound message, and it was so sad to see him died, but he left something for all of us to be thoughtful about our daily life. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Zaki, for sharing your thoughts and your favorite movies. And now I think because we're a little bit ran out of time, I think this is time for us to wrap up this session. It is a sweet and quick session, but I hope all of you can have a inspiring moments from this lovely answers for today's table topic speakers. So thank you so much, everyone, and have a happy morning, everyone. Back to you, table. Back to you, topic. First message of the meeting.
Right. Thank you, Toastmaster Leonie, for the table topic project. Now, I will call out timer. And okay, so to efficiently use our time, The report is in the chat box, and the link is also available there. So please cast your vote. And now we can continue to the next session, which is our which is I will give it to our general evaluator. Oh no, I'm sorry. We will have an online photo session first.
Okay. Thank you to start the meeting. Okay, everyone. Oh, wait. Here's my face. Please give your biggest and widest smiles so that you can be part of this cute picture. Okay. Guest Tita and guest Azrina, if you like to be in the picture, please join us. But otherwise, and also to assess your use, I'm gonna take the picture in 3, 2, 1. There we go. Another one in 3, 2, 1. Hang on. Okay. All right. Thank you. Back to the Toastmaster of the meeting.
Thank you, Toastmaster Donna. So now we can begin the evaluation sessions, which will be led by our general evaluator, Toastmaster Mala. Screen is yours.
Thank you, Madam Tom. I hope everyone is motivated, and then in this beautiful Saturday, we can be blessed with the information, with also with the camaraderie of this meeting. And now I want to call for the individual evaluators. I will call the second prepared speech evaluator first. Toastmaster Eliza, can you please
Thank you.
share
Thank
your
you very much.
evaluation?
Thank you very much to our general evaluator and also to everyone, especially to my speaker, Toastmaster Garda. Toastmaster Garda, you are really give a very great speech. It's a very inspiring speech. I'm going to give you an evaluation with the two types. One is the good thing that I like and something that we can work for this speech to make it better. So start with the things that I like. Toastmaster Garda, you are really a great speaker. Where are you, Toastmaster Garda? Can I see him? I don't see him. Okay, sorry. Yes, there you are. So you are a very confident speaker. You speak very well. You also speak very calmly. So this is all the things that make the speech become more charming. You also give a very great opening by telling us the story of Dory and ask the engagement from all the members and audience. What is a Dory? So at first, when I'm thinking about the Dory, I just think that when is the time for the buka puasa? Are we going to fry the Dory? Yeah, but yeah, don't worry. I know it's about the movie of the Dory. I'm a little bit of confused when you're saying about after the Dory, when you change the story into yourself during the pandemic and how you lost. Actually, I a little bit don't understand why your life is just like a Dory. So my suggestion is maybe you want to tell a little bit about what is a Dory and why you think that your life is like a Dory. Because sometimes I just got lost. Frankly speaking, I'm not really watching the story of the Dory and Nemo. I just know them, but I didn't watch. So for all the people like me, maybe you can tell the story of the Dory is someone that Dory is a little fish that always get confused. Or maybe she always forget something like that. And it's happened like me. Then you go with the story. And one idea that I want to I want to give is maybe you can elaborate more about your story with your friend Tama. What actually he did for you? Maybe you can elaborate more so he can inspire all of us. Especially we know when during the pandemic everybody was really in the stress and what he did to you until you feel that he is a special that you make this speech for him. So at the end, As a good speech, all the speeches need to have a message, and you really inspire us with, you really make us feel inspiring with your speech, that actually every one of us, even we are lost, we can be someone that still can be together and attached with others to help them. So this is a great message for everyone. I really love this I really love this speech. I hope to hear more of your speeches in the next time. All the best, and looking forward to hear more. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Madam Evaluator, Toastmaster Eliza. Yes, what Toastmaster Eliza share is very important for all of us, not only for the speaker, because it is very important for us to know our audience. Think to sometimes if we become the speaker, we forgot to put ourselves in the audience shoe, to know their perspective, to know how to convey our message. Thank you. Now I want to call Toastmaster Hani as the evaluator of Toastmaster Alvin.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Mara. But I think it will be introduced first by third evaluator, Toastmaster Ivoni, because I will deliver the project and she will my another evaluator.
Okay. Is it Toastmaster Ivone or Toastmaster Agung for evaluating you? Oh, Toastmaster Ivone. Okay.
Maybe Toastmaster Agong is okay. Yeah, because just now I missed the first speaker's speech. Yeah. Is
Okay,
that
Toastmaster
arranged?
Agung.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, that's okay. Right. Yeah. My fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests, today, Toastmaster Hani will present her evaluation towards Toastmaster Alvin's speech. So it will. In the next, I will give evaluation to how Toastmaster Hani is giving the evaluation to the speaker. Okay, Toastmaster Hani, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Yeah, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Agung. I would say that congratulations for Toastmaster Alvin that already giving the encouragement to audience, especially in Saturday morning. It's really energized about leadership. If Toastmaster Alvin asks who will be the chairman, I think not only raise your hand, but opportunity will come to you and say yes, of course. So let's give applause to Toastmaster Alvin. Congratulations. He has the inspires and giving the encouragement how to be a leader. Example, by giving in the school, Toastmaster, and also giving the positive impact especially in our country. Beside of that, I will give the what he excelled at in 2 points. First, vocal variety. I really like your vocal variety during speech, and I noticed you already implement with the different tones. Example, for the question mark in the opening, who wanna be the chairman? And your voice was high, and there are some of a question mark. And second, during the implement in statement, like irregular of sitting, peculiar rules. This one is bad. Your voice was giving the strike to the forward. So it sounds emphasize of important statement. It's good. And second, about structure. I love your speech structure. I noticed you already have opening by asking the audience, and during the body, I noticed you continuing elaborate in speech about being a school chairman and describe in leadership. And closing, I noticed you already have a good closing and elaborate with the statement of opportunity will come to you, then you giving the message and giving the encouragement to the audience. So it's a good closing in the power of message. Beside of that, there are some of the highlight of our improvement is one of content of project. I really like that you already have a good structure and closing to encouragement to the audience. But I noticed some of points in your speech. I heard you less mention a bit about leadership styles because this project proposed tell how the speaker and find primary leadership style, and it will be better. You may try add some example, a bit example. What's your leadership style? And then you can continue in your stories in the speech between in school, implementation in school, Toastmasters, and also encouragement to the audience. So it will be more uh, giving the whole of the speech about leadership style and then implementation. And I think that's all from me. Back to Madam GE.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hani, for the encouraging and also for feedback, not only for the speaker, but also for all of us to be a better communicator. Now, I would like to call the table topic evaluator, Toastmaster Nikki.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Before I start, can I ask if I'm clearly audible?
Yes, you
Yes,
are.
you are.
All right. Thank you. Awesome. All right. So happy morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to Toastmasters Leonie for, even though it was quite short, I believe was an engaging table topic session nonetheless. So I'll be delivering my evaluation to her, and I'll be highlighting 2 positive points that everyone here can, I believe, learn from today's session. First of all, if you notice, Toastmaster Leonie always starts with a positive note. For example, soon to be Toastmaster Zaki, I love your speech. For example, she highlighted the good points of his table topics, and she always ends with a positive note as well, which signs a very good table topic master. Secondly, if you notice, she also uses the example from the table topic speaker. For instance, she highlighted the movie Agak Lain. She also talks about Uruguay, I think, from the second speaker. And that makes her evaluation relatable. And that really shows that she is actively listening. So well done, Toastmasters Leonie. However, to elevate your next table topic session even further, I'd like to give you some recommendations. Now, first of all, this is quite minor, but I believe you can vary your facial expression a little bit more. Let's say you can try being surprised, for example, let's say, oh, I didn't know this from the session, for example. Or you could exaggerate being, let's say, happy, or you can exaggerate your emotions a little bit more to make it more fluctuative. Now, secondly, I could quite see that summarizing in a couple of sentences was still a challenge for you because you were kind of trying to think about what should be said for each speaker, which I totally can understand. Probably that's because of the time limit, but I believe that in the next ones, you can improve even further. So, for your next table topic session, or let's say for everyone here as well, I can give you some suggestions. When giving or summarizing the table topic speaker's speech, you can use 3 different methods. The first one, you can stick with your encouragement. For example, thank you, Toastmaster blah, 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 for your opinion. Number 2, you can summarize it in 1 sentence. You mentioned about this, this, this. I agree or disagree. You can even give your opinion, right? And then finally, thank you very much. Let's move on to the next one. So you have those 3 parts, summarizing the three act structure. Guess the rule of 3 does really apply, right? Other than agree or disagreeing, you can even question back the speaker. For example, oh, thank you so much for the Kung Fu Panda reference. Can I ask you when you first watched the installment? And then you chit chat a little bit and then thank the speaker, move on to the next one, for example. Or the third one, you can even as simple as ask the audience. Let's say, oh, thank you so much. I believe everyone here has already watched Agak Lain, right? So I guess we can all relate to blah, blah, blah speech, blah, blah, blah's, let's say, summary just now, something like that. And then you thank the speaker and then move on to the next one. So it doesn't have to always be like that, but if you can implement that into your speech or into your table topic section, I believe that will make it even more wonderful than it already was. All right, so that would be all. You excelled in positive encouragement and using the example in your summary. However, in the next sessions, I hope you can implement some of my suggestions as well to further elevate your table topic session. All right, that's all for me. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nikki, for the encouragement and also feedback to how to become a table topic master. I think it applies to all of us. Then I will call the last evaluator, who evaluated Toastmaster Hani. Toastmaster Agung, screen is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mala. So this is the second layer of breakfast. I know for Muslims it's fasting month, but this is the breakfast for our mind, especially for Toastmaster Hani that has given a feedback to Toastmaster Alfin's speech. So Toastmaster Hani, I love that you highlighted some of the strengths of how Toastmaster Alfin's giving the speech, especially when you started with the technique how Toastmaster Alfin's opening his speech, like raising hands, something like that. It really is a good feedback, as well as it can be dissect to the audience so that others can learn from how Mr. Alvin's opening his speech. So it's one of the techniques. And also, I love also you highlighted the closing, like you mentioned about the closing that Mr. Alvin's giving the speech. So it is really good feedback from you that you highlighted. And I would say it's a feedback, and I would like to give a recommendations for you in the next when you want to deliver a evaluation again. So Hani, like I give you feedback, I imagine that I speak with you, I talk to you, like having conversation with you. So I would say I would recommend you to give a personalization when you're giving a evaluation, especially Toastmaster Alvin. So sometimes you can mention his name, like call his name, Toastmaster Alvin, I think you blah blah blah, something like that. I really love this and congratulations for that. And also this evaluation can be a lesson, can be an insight for other members as well, right? So maybe you might want to recommend to the speakers, hi speakers, sorry, hi audience, this is the good way of how to deliver the speech, like how to smash out in state, something like that. So it is really impeccable to all of us, not only for Toastmaster Alvin. That's what my take on my feedback. And also, I would like to recommend that you want to elaborate more on the content, to comment more on the content instead of for the techniques, because I saw that Toastmaster Alvin is a very seasoned Toastmaster, seasoned public speaker. So maybe a little bit more advice on the content would be beneficial for Toastmaster Alvin's personally. So yeah, I think that's all from my feedback. And Toastmaster Hani, congratulations that you completed your project, and I am looking forward to seeing your next evaluation speech. Back to you, Toastmaster Mala.
Thank you, Toastmaster Agung. That's the nice and being in a community like Toastmasters, because we got encouragement, we got feedback that will develop us to become a better version of ourselves. Then I would call the timer to report all the evaluators.
Thank you, Mala, for our first evaluator, Hani, is 3 minutes 8 seconds. For evaluator 2, Eliza, is 3 minutes 5 seconds. For Nikki, it is 4 minutes 38 seconds. However, for evaluator Agung, I wasn't able to start the timer right away when he spoke, but later I was able to start it. 2 minutes 53 seconds. I'm so sorry for starting it late. And back to your general evaluator, Malik.
Thank you. Thank you, timer. It means there are 3 evaluators that we will vote, is it? The ballot counter, Toastmaster Alaika? You want to cast the ballot?
Yes. I've sent the link for you to vote the favorite evaluator. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
only 3 evaluators will be voted today.
Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster Alaika. Then I will, while you are cast the vote, I'm going to call the grammarian to share your observation and your feedback. Toastmaster Donna, the screen is yours.
Happy morning. Oh, am I muted?
Happy morning.
I'm not muted. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me. We are now here to see the grammarian report. Lots of quotes and lots of points of improvement as well. First of all, from our edu speaker, Toastmaster Use, the second crisis can be the happiest part. It can also be the calm before the storm. So when there's like a happy part in your life, and then you expect something bad to happen, you expect the other shoe to drop. He's talking about that aspect. Okay. And from Toastmaster Alvin, smart people aren't in the leadership circles. If opportunity comes to you, raise your hand. Please do so that we're not led by silly dum-dums. Next. Creatures under the sea have their own lives and similar stories like humans. Thank you to our psych ward hero, Toastmaster Garda, for his fishy story. Lovely. And from RGE, sometimes when we become a speaker, we forget to put ourselves in the audience's shoe. Okay, as for the areas of improvement, I have only 8 compared to my usual 5 pages. First, there are different words that you use before a day or a time. And for days, we use on, not in. On Saturday, not in Saturday. And then they just conduct an election. It should be they just conducted an election. You read the ed part out loud. And when you have feelings, you say to be before it. You say I was confused instead of I confused. And then we heard this word a lot, crisis versus crises. What's the difference? Crisis is singular and crises is plural. Next, the movie quite have a nice storytelling. The movie has nice storytelling because it's singular. We're going to use has instead of have. And the Dory, the Nemo, proper nouns do not use articles. We don't say the Toyota, the New York, the Indonesia. Just say Toyota, New York, Indonesia. And next, 2 ways to say content or content. Huh? So if you want to say grateful, I'm very content. Can you unmute yourselves and say content?
Content.
Content.
That's right. Content means grateful. While the stuff that's inside of something, you say content.
Content.
Content. Thank you. Okay, that will be all from me. I now return the control back to our general evaluator.
Thank you, Madam Grammarian, for giving your observation, and also I really love hearing your intonation. Next, I want to call Toastmaster Dede as our counter.
Thank you so much, Madam GE, Toastmaster Malang. So let me share my PowerPoint first. It is visible for everyone?
Not yet.
Okay, so for now it's visible?
Yes, it is.
Thank you so much. Happy morning, fellow Toastmaster and guests. So for today's, I will report about A counter and WOD. And for all of the speaker for today's meeting, it's quite a little bit a mistake for the sentence or the filler words, because every time when you are speak, you probably make it a preparation and make it really clear to our audience for today's. But sometimes when we talk about what the next of the sentence that we will deliver to audience, we such as the different speed between our sentence and our mouth. So for all of the speakers, such as Toastmaster Alvin, have and for 3 times, and then for Toastmaster Honey, and 3 times, Toastmaster Agung 1 time, and DTM Alize, congratulations, you don't speak the filler words, and Toastmaster Garda 3 times, Toastmaster Yus 2 times, Toastmaster Nabila, congratulations, you don't mention about the filler words, and Toastmaster Mala 1 time. And some of the members said about the our WOD, it's the movie Toastmaster Honey, Toastmaster Gana, and Toastmaster Yus. And then for the Toastmaster Leonie, you mentioned about 1 time for and then with the movie for 4 time, and Toastmaster Iksan with no filler words, but he mentioned about our WOD for the movie 1 time, Toastmaster Will, WOD 1 time, and there is no filler words, and soon to be Toastmaster Zakit's time, and Toastmaster Nikki 1 times. Congratulations for all of the speaker that you manage your sentence very well. And for reduce our counter, and when we speaking in audience, basically we just need for 3 kind of the item that we need. The first is practicing for pausing, because sometimes our mind is thinking faster than our mouth, so we have to make it stop for a while and we can continue for speaking. And then for tips number 3 is just prepare and rehearse, because we have a lot of the meeting Toastmaster. We can join as the club hopping or just visiting Toastmaster, so we can learn and practice and rehearse on that meeting. And then the last is just relax, because sometimes we get the nervous, but just be calm and just chill out and stay calm. So it will be reduce our counter by the time, not in the one meeting, but we can regularly join in the next meeting, because the 1% improvement, it will be better than never. It's all from me, Toastmaster Mala, back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dede. Then this is my time to report my observation. First of all, thank you for having me in this meeting. The meeting was conducted on time. SAA started at 8:55, and everything is well prepared. I can say that, starting from the Toastmaster of the meeting, prepare all the slides, even for the prepared speech. And I also love the atmosphere of this meeting, that everybody back up each other. For example, before Arkantar wasn't here at the first time, then the grammarian back up. And then also how I can feel the value of cooperation here. And active chat also showing that you are on the meeting and then you are listening, doing active listening through doing the chatting. And also everything is clear also for the guests, for soon to be Toastmasters, yeah, in this. And that you prepare the PowerPoint. And that is very good one. And also for the role takers, thank you for the Toastmaster of the meeting. Active, you show that you show active listening. Also for the table topic masters, that you show engage. I think you have been evaluated before. Grammarian also showing with the PowerPoint. I'm sorry that I don't prepare with any PowerPoint. And the thing that it's interesting for me is that there is no word of the day. That is not common for me as a member. So maybe this is the things that you can also inform other member as your GE, or because you need to set, you can tell your expectation for GE that there is no word of the day. You can inform that in advance to make sure that the GE knows this is the culture of SCBD and everything. And also for the use of PPT is good, but just make sure that this is a visual aid. Why? Sometimes it also can become a barrier for the audience and the speaker, the interaction. I mean, yeah, because if we keep on looking at the PowerPoint instead of the speaker itself. So just use it for your visual aid. If it is already clear, then you can stop sharing the screen so that we can have more interaction, or we can see the face of the speaker. That is my suggestion for this. And that is the interesting part, that you say, even for the account report, you said that soon to be Toastmaster. Before I was wondering STM, what is STM? That is soon to be Toastmaster instead of writing guest. And thank you that for the young, energetic, I can feel that because everybody was updated with the movie. Oh yeah, one more is, if it is about the time, if it is overtime and maybe the speaker didn't realize it, sometimes it is also okay to unmute yourself and then say that your time is only 2 more minutes left, or 1 minute, or it's for time. I think it's good to keep track of the time, because we appreciate everybody's time in this meeting. Thank you. Now this is my time to call the ballot counter, Toastmaster Alaika, for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, sure. I'm sharing my screen. And this is the moment of truth for everyone. Okay. Most favorite prepared speech speakers goes to Toastmaster Garda, our Dory. Toastmaster Garda, you here? Ready to take a picture? He's gone.
He's gone.
Okay, we can go ahead to the next category. Most favorite table topic speaker goes to Toastmaster Ihsan. Yay, I got line. I got lines ambassador. All right, please take a picture. Anyone taking a picture?
I can, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Take a picture. 1, 2, 3, cheers.
All right. Thank you and congratulations, Toastmaster Rickson. Next one, most favorite evaluator goes to wait, Toastmaster Agung. Yay. Toastmaster Agung, please
Yay.
share your smile and take a picture.
Okay, I will take 1, 2, 3, cheers.
Oh, so cute.
Oh, so cute. Okay, thank you, Madam Violet.
All right. Ah, this the next slide. Is this the I don't know, maybe Donna, you can share what is this slide?
All right. Hang on. Let me spotlight myself. Okay, so to those of you who are curious about our club, please scan this link and text this man. He is our vice president of membership. Do not hit on him. Please ask about Toastmaster and SCBD in particular so that you can become a member, so that you can deliver speeches, and then you can become as cool a speaker as everyone you've seen in this meeting. Thank you. Back to our ballot counter to close our session.
Yep, I think that's all from me. I will give the screen back to GE or Toastmaster of the meeting.
Toastmaster of the meeting, please.
All right, Toastmaster of the meeting. Toastmaster Nabila, screen is yours.
Yes. Thank you, Toastmaster Alaika. So we have it all now. All the sessions are delivered. And I would like to say thank you to our guest speaker and also the role takers and also all of us who has joined this meeting. And to officially close the meeting, I will give the screen to our Toastmaster Donna as the PPT. Toastmaster Donna, the screen is yours.
Happy morning. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in and coming over. Let's give everybody a round of applause. Woohoo! Well, that was so cool. I was so inspired when I saw Toastmaster Youth's Edu session. I thought I knew about movies because I studied movies, but no, I learned way more in today's meeting. And we had such amazing speakers too, as well as evaluators. It was a really refreshing start to the day. So, if you have time, please don't forget to send your messages. Next week we'll meet again on the 23rd. And so please join us then. But other than that, by the power vested in me as your acting tippy tap tap, I officially adjourn this meeting. Thank you. Happy
Thank you.
morning.
Happy morning.
Okay. Good morning.